There is a paradox at the very heart of leadership that most people never resolve. We are taught that to lead others, we must first conquer the world around us. We must master strategy, influence people, build empires, and accumulate power. But history's greatest leaders understood a deeper truth: the only kingdom you can truly rule is the one within your own mind. If you cannot govern your own thoughts, emotions, and reactions, no amount of external power will ever bring you peace or lasting success. You will be a slave to circumstance, a puppet of other people's opinions, and a prisoner of your own unchecked impulses. Nearly 2,000 years ago, a man named Marcus Aurelius wrote a book that was never intended for publication. It was not a manual for his subjects, nor a treatise for philosophers. It was a private journal, written in the margins of military campaigns, by candlelight in a tent on the Danube frontier. He was the Emperor of Rome, the most powerful man on earth, yet he used these pages not to boast of his conquests, but to humble himself. To remind himself of his mortality. To check his ego. To steady his mind against the chaos of war, plague, betrayal, and grief. This book is Meditations, and it remains the most profound guide to self-mastery ever written. Today, we are going to walk through this masterpiece not as an ancient relic, but as a living, breathing operating system for modern leadership. We will explore how to build an inner citadel that no external event can breach, how to turn obstacles into fuel, and how to lead with clarity when everything around you is falling apart. This is not about suppressing emotion or becoming cold. It is about achieving a state of unshakable equanimity that makes you more compassionate, more decisive, and more effective than you have ever been. Let us begin with the foundation of all Stoic practice, the dichotomy of control. Epictetus, Marcus's philosophical predecessor, distilled this principle into its simplest form: some things are up to us, and some things are not. Your opinions, your intentions, your desires, your actions, these are yours. Your body, your reputation, your wealth, the weather, the actions of others, the outcome of your efforts, these are not. Suffering arises when we confuse the two. When we tie our happiness to things outside our control, we hand over the keys to our inner peace to forces that do not care about us. Marcus writes repeatedly about this separation. He reminds himself that praise and blame are equally meaningless because they come from minds that are just as confused and imperfect as his own. A senator's flattery does not make him better, a soldier's insult does not make him worse. Only his own choices define his character. In modern leadership, this is revolutionary. How many leaders are paralyzed by market fluctuations, social media criticism, or the unpredictable behavior of competitors? How much energy is wasted trying to control outcomes that were never theirs to control? The Stoic leader focuses exclusively on their sphere of influence. They prepare meticulously, act with integrity, and then release attachment to the result. This is not passivity, it is precision. By conserving emotional energy that would otherwise be spent on anxiety and frustration, they have more clarity and resilience for the decisions that actually matter. When a project fails despite their best efforts, they do not spiral into self-doubt or blame. They examine what was within their control, learn from it, and move forward. Their worth is not contingent on external validation. This inner stability becomes a source of calm authority that inspires confidence in everyone around them. This leads directly to the second pillar: perception is choice. Marcus writes, "Choose not to be harmed, and you won't feel harmed. Don't feel harmed, and you haven't been." Events themselves are neutral. It is our judgment that labels them as good or bad, helpful or harmful. Two people can face the same crisis. One sees catastrophe, the other sees opportunity. The difference is not in the event, but in the lens through which it is viewed. This is perhaps the most practical tool in the entire book. When something goes wrong, a key employee quits, a deal falls through, a public relations disaster erupts, the automatic reaction is to label it as bad. But Marcus trains himself to pause before that judgment takes root. He asks, what is this really? Strip away the story, the emotion, the narrative of victimhood. What remains is simply a set of facts. And facts can be worked with. Stories paralyze. In leadership, this reframing is everything. A setback is not a failure, it is data. Criticism is not an attack, it is feedback, even if poorly delivered. A difficult person is not an obstacle, they are a training ground for patience and empathy. Marcus doesn't deny pain or difficulty. He simply refuses to add unnecessary suffering through catastrophic thinking. He meets reality as it is, not as he wishes it to be. This mental flexibility allows him to adapt quickly, find creative solutions, and maintain morale when others are panicking. His team senses the steadiness. They know that no matter what happens, their leader will not lose his head. That trust is worth more than any strategic advantage. Now we arrive at the third pillar, amor fati, the love of fate. This goes beyond mere acceptance. It is an enthusiastic embrace of everything that happens, good and bad, as necessary material for growth. Marcus writes, the impediment to action advances action. What stands in the way becomes the way. Obstacles are not interruptions to your path, they are the path. Every challenge contains within it the seed of a greater strength, a deeper wisdom, or a new direction. Consider Marcus's own life. He became emperor during a period of unprecedented crisis. Wars on multiple fronts, a devastating plague that killed millions, economic collapse, and constant political intrigue. He could have raged against his circumstances. Instead, he used them as his forge. The plague taught him compassion and the fragility of life. The wars tested his courage and strategic thinking. The betrayals refined his discernment. He did not merely endure his fate, he alchemized it into virtue. For modern leaders, this mindset transforms adversity from something to be feared into something to be welcomed. When a competitor launches a superior product, instead of despairing, ask, what does this reveal about our weaknesses? How can this push us to innovate faster? When a team member makes a costly mistake, instead of punishing, ask, what systemic issue allowed this to happen? How can we build better safeguards? When personal tragedy strikes, instead of collapsing, ask, what is this teaching me about what truly matters? How can I lead with more depth and humanity now? Amor fati is not toxic positivity. It does not pretend that pain doesn't hurt. It simply refuses to waste that pain. It extracts every ounce of value from every experience. Leaders who embody this quality become anti-fragile. They don't just survive chaos, they grow stronger because of it. Their teams learn to see challenges not as threats, but as opportunities to prove their resilience and creativity. This cultural shift is the ultimate competitive advantage. The fourth pillar is memento mori, remember you will die. This sounds morbid, but for Marcus, it was the ultimate clarifier. Death is not a distant abstraction, it is the horizon against which all our choices gain meaning. Knowing that time is finite strips away trivial concerns, petty grievances, and endless procrastination. It forces us to ask, if today were my last day, would I be proud of how I spent it? Would I regret holding on to this grudge? Would I wish I had spoken up, taken that risk, shown more kindness? Marcus uses death as a daily practice, not a final destination. He reminds himself that empires fall, reputations fade, and even his own name will eventually be forgotten. This is not nihilism. It is liberation. When you internalize your mortality, you stop performing for an audience that won't exist in a century. You start living according to your own values, right now. You forgive faster because grudges are a waste of precious time. You take bold action because regret weighs heavier than failure. You prioritize relationships over achievements because connection outlasts accomplishment. In leadership, memento mori creates urgency without anxiety. It eliminates the paralysis of perfectionism. Leaders who remember their finitude make decisions with clarity and conviction. They delegate effectively because they know they cannot do everything alone, and their time is too valuable to micromanage. They mentor successors because they understand their role is temporary. They leave legacies not of monuments, but of empowered people who carry their values forward. This perspective also fosters profound humility. No title, no wealth, no achievement can shield you from mortality. This equalizes you with your team. You lead not from a pedestal, but from shared human vulnerability. That authenticity builds loyalty that no corporate culture program can manufacture. The fifth pillar is sympathia, the interconnectedness of all things. Despite his emphasis on self-reliance, Marcus was deeply committed to the common good. He saw himself not as separate from humanity, but as a limb of a larger body. What is not good for the swarm is not good for the bee, he writes. True leadership is service. Power exercised for personal gain is tyranny, power exercised for collective flourishing is stewardship. This principle counters the isolation that often accompanies authority. Leaders surrounded by yes men can lose touch with reality. Marcus combats this by constantly reminding himself of his duty to others. He judges himself not by his rank, but by his contribution. He practices justice, kindness, and cooperation not as virtues to display, but as natural expressions of his place in the human community. He understands that his well-being is tied to the well-being of those he leads. In modern organizations, sympathia manifests as psychological safety, equitable systems, and genuine care for employees as whole human beings. It means making decisions that may cost short-term profit but preserve long-term trust. It means listening to frontline workers whose insights are often ignored. It means recognizing that burnout, inequality, and disconnection are not HR issues, they are leadership failures. Leaders who embody this interconnectedness create cultures where people thrive, not just survive. Innovation flourishes because people feel safe to take risks. Retention soars because people feel valued. Performance improves because people are motivated by purpose, not fear. This is not soft leadership. It is sustainable leadership. The sixth pillar is prosoc, attentive presence. Marcus practiced constant vigilance over his own mind. He monitored his thoughts like a sentinel watches a gate. Not to suppress them, but to examine them with honesty and compassion. He caught himself slipping into anger, vanity, or distraction, and gently redirected his attention back to the present moment and his chosen values. This is mindfulness rooted in ethics, not just relaxation. In our age of infinite distraction, this practice is radical. Leaders are bombarded with notifications, meetings, crises, and demands. Attention is fragmented. Decisions are reactive. Presence is rare. Marcus teaches us to cultivate focused awareness. Before responding to an email, pause. Before entering a meeting, center yourself. Before making a decision, check your motives. Are you acting from clarity or compulsion? From principle or impulse? This micro-practice of presence accumulates into macro results. Meetings become more productive. Communication becomes clearer. Decisions become wiser. Teams feel heard because their leader is actually there, not physically present but mentally absent. Prosoc also extends to how we perceive others. Marcus reminds himself to look beneath surface behaviors to the human being underneath. The angry colleague is not an enemy, they are someone in pain. The underperforming employee is not lazy. They may be struggling with unseen burdens. This attentive compassion transforms conflict into connection. It allows leaders to address root causes rather than symptoms. It builds trust because people sense they are seen fully, not reduced to their utility. Finally, we must address the integration of all these principles into daily life. Marcus did not achieve Stoic mastery overnight. His journal reveals a man constantly practicing, failing, and trying again. He writes the same reminders repeatedly because forgetting is human. Self-mastery is not a destination, it is a discipline. It requires daily rehearsal. Morning reflection: what challenges will I face today? How will I meet them with virtue? Evening review: where did I succeed? Where did I fall short? What can I learn? For modern leaders, this translates into intentional rituals. Start each day with 5 minutes of silent reflection on your values and priorities. End each day with honest self-assessment without self-judgment. Create physical reminders, a quote on your desk, a note in your phone, a ritual before important meetings. Surround yourself with people who embody the qualities you aspire to. Read widely, especially philosophy and history, to widen your perspective beyond the immediate pressures of leadership. Practice solitude regularly to reconnect with your inner compass. Seek feedback openly and receive it without defensiveness. Forgive yourself for stumbles. Progress matters more than perfection. As we conclude this journey through meditations, remember that Marcus Aurelius was not a perfect sage. He was a man wrestling with the same doubts, fears, and frustrations we all face. His greatness lies not in flawless execution, but in relentless commitment to growth. He shows us that leadership begins inwardly. That true power is self-possession. That the most enduring legacy is not what we build, but who we become in the building. In a world obsessed with external metrics of success, Meditations offers a counter-narrative. The richest life is lived in alignment with virtue, regardless of circumstance. The strongest leader is the one who cannot be shaken because their foundation is internal. The most influential person is the one who leads by example, not decree. These truths are timeless because human nature is timeless. Technology changes, markets shift, empires rise and fall, but the challenges of the human heart remain constant. Your leadership journey is ultimately a journey of self-discovery. Every external challenge is an invitation to deepen your inner resources. Every relationship is a mirror reflecting areas for growth. Every setback is a teacher disguised as hardship. Embrace this process with the same fierce tenderness Marcus showed himself. Be patient with your progress. Celebrate small victories of character. Trust that consistent practice compounds into transformation. Thank you for walking this path with us. If these reflections resonate, share them with someone navigating their own leadership challenges. And remember, the empire you are meant to rule is within. Govern it wisely, compassionately, and courageously. The world needs leaders who have mastered themselves first. Go forth and build that inner citadel. Everything else will follow.